Have you ever looked at a humanoid robot and even though it's realistic, you have an unsettling feeling? Well, that's what's known as the uncanny valley, and a robotics company out of the UK is well on its way to make us more comfortable around humanoid robots. Engineered Arts and its founder, Will Jackson, has found a niche specializing in making robots for the customer service and entertainment industries that have a reputation for making lifelike robotic doubles. Well, so when it comes to humanoid robots, it seems like everybody freaks out a little bit when we put a face on a robot. Why is that? Why does that make people get a little unsettled when they see a robot that's too human-like?
I think it's because the machine is getting close to us. We recognize ourselves in the way that it looks, and that starts to bring up questions like, how am I different from this machine? Am I different from a machine? And that can be unnerving, unsettling.
How authentic are those conversations today, given where artificial intelligence is, and how far are we away from real, true, interactive communication with robots?
It really surprises me. We go to new levels almost every day, and I didn't think I would see the day when I got into a conversation with a robot where I didn't really know what was coming next, and the kind of flow of the conversation went in a direction I didn't expect. Now that started to happen recently. I'll try and give an example. So we had a Spanish-speaking person came, spoke to our robot, and it said, "Can you say hello in Spanish to the robot?" And the robot replied, "No, I can't say gracias." So it knew the hello in Spanish is gracias, but it says it can't say it, but it says it at the same time.
It's funny
So
that it actually sounds like it has a sense of humor as well. Is that the key? Trying to make humanoid robots as lifelike as possible, down to the most minute detail when it comes to expression and gestures. Does that make people, more comfortable and make it feel more real?
I think it's really important actually to know the robot's a robot. Our most recent humanoid robot is Amica, which actually has a gray face and is very obviously mechanical. But people say it's our most lifelike robot. And I was like a little confused because we've made other robots that are much more human looking, but they say Amica is the most lifelike. Now, this is puzzling. People talk about this idea of the uncanny valley. The uncanny valley is a dip in a graph. And that graph is, how friendly do I feel towards this robot, and how much does the robot look like a person? And generally it goes, well, the more it looks like a person, the better I feel about it, until it gets too close. And then we get this dip in the graph, and we call that the uncanny valley. It's uncanny. It's too close to me. I don't like it. The movement side is much more important than the static side. So the static side, it can have a gray face, it can have metal parts, it can have holes through its body. Really, obviously, not a human. But if it moves like a human, if it speaks like a human, if it makes the right expressions, but at the same time, we don't have this conflict because we know actually this is a robot. It's clear, it's obvious. So this is our kind of way that we tackle this problem of the uncanny valley.
It's interesting. I've read that older people seem to prefer robots to be more human-like, and younger people prefer them to look as much of a robot as possible. So I guess my question is, what is the perfect balance of incorporating humanoid robots into everyday life, and how can we actually really get the most out of robots and humanoids in society?
I would say the perfect balance is looks like a robot, behaves like a human. So it's, looks one way, behaves another way.
What about the general public? What role does the general public play when it comes to regulating artificial intelligence and the development of AI?
The first thing is to try and really understand it. So I would encourage people to dig a little deeper, and it would be good if there was more general information put out. What is AI? Generally, it's just something that finds a pattern and repeats a pattern. And when you look at it in that way, it's not so scary. But I think people need to be more engaged with it. They need to be aware of where it's being used, and you should be asking questions. How is my data being used? Is an AI behind this algorithm that's choosing whether I can have a mortgage or a bank loan? What's happening here? So ask the questions.